Well, I managed to find some dregs of ammonia in some bottles, and I bottled them up, and got enough to do some experiments. And yes, it does actually react. Free ammonia still does react with copper phosphate to a certain extent, to form the tetrammonium or tetracupramonium, whatever they call it. It's a complicated gobbledygook sort of name, but so it does actually react to that, but not after the nickel's been in the body and taken away all the free ammonia sort of thing. So that's again comes down to the fact that would imply that serpentine areas or extensive serpentine areas that have free nickel to react will actually over time absorb all the free ammonia in the area, and therefore you won't get this problem of this reaction, if it is indeed a problem, which it appears to be from our other experiments. So, but we can go through now steadily with our chicken breasting and slowly follow through, and with the polystyrene and maybe the perlite in parallel, you never know, if we find out that perlite can also generate reductive flammable gas. And we can slowly go down the line and cross off all the boxes and find out exactly what's going on. But that's quite an amazing discovery, that's why. So in other words, the chromium makes the plants iron deficient, which is a trigger, and the nickel is getting rid of any of the free ammonia so that the organism can actually grow, I assume, or the good bugs can actually grow in the medium sort of thing. So the next question is whether peat is a form of meat, in quotes. Well, if you have polystyrene and charcoal, and then you just have polystyrene and chicken breast, and they basically produce the same result, you say that in some way, in quotes, that you make your little mathematical equation that poly plus charcoal is somewhat equivalent to poly plus chicken breast, and therefore is charcoal, in quotes, a type of meat. And do we have a true understanding of what meat is, in quotes? Do we just have a prosaic sort of understanding? We don't have a really deep understanding of the concept, in quotes, of what a meat is. We think it's just a proteinaceous source or something like that. Maybe it's like, as I said, it might be like with prime numbers. When someone comes along and actually understands what primeness is, they can tell us whether 2 or 3 are truly prime numbers, whether 2 being the only even prime number, and they may come up with an equation that proves categorically one way or another, and also by telling us what primeness is, that 2 is not a prime number. But up until now, we just have to accept it is, and it probably is, according to the definition, but the definition may be wrong because we don't have a true understanding of primeness. This is a parallel analogy to this thing. Do we have a misunderstanding of what, in quotes, a meat is? And is peat a form of meat? Sort of thing, in quotes. And is charcoal got some sort of properties of meat, in quotes, sort of thing? Is that, and it's meatness in the water, not sweetness in the water? And whether you can take meaty charcoal, in quotes,